Hey guys, my name is Steven and welcome to my channel. I'm brand new to this and well I am brand new to this. I did a couple YouTube shorts and I thought to myself the other day, why not continue doing this, but do it in a form of discussion. There are a lot of them out there and don't get me wrong, I'm probably not going to be any different from any one of them. I'm just going to be me. I am working on a title for what it is that I'm doing. I wanted to call it WTX. And the X would be in parentheses, and the WT would be a what, the where, the why, the who, the. It would just be an acronym, and the X would be what we're talking about. But this channel would be mainly for me to help build my confidence and my communication. And maybe I might learn a thing or two about film editing or whatever. Because I got a MacBook Pro and it's got their own video software, and I figured, like iMovies, I figured why not mess around with that, see what I can do with it. But I'll get there because this is for me. And the one thing that I want to do is just start somewhere, and I figured why not start now. So here I am. And without further ado, the first thing that I'm going to discuss today is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So if you don't want any spoilers, I appreciate you coming out. You've been fantastic. If you are going to stay for the rest of this discussion or this review, you can always comment. You don't have to like or subscribe. You can always hit the dislike button if you like as well. And I'm okay with that because this is for me. This is meant for me to build off of and become something a little bit better than who I was before. And we'll see what happens. Who knows? But anyways, the first thing that I want to talk about is the title of the film, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I find it very interesting that it's titled Ant-Man and the Wasp, but to me it didn't feel like Ant-Man and the Wasp, because at like 20 minutes in the film, our characters, like, they get separated into like groups. Ant-Man is with his daughter, Wasp is with her family, Janet and Hank Pym, and I like that part because the theme was, family, right? It's like, we love our family. We want to get to know our family. We want to be there for our family. Okay, cool. Congratulations. We got ourselves a theme. Well, Ant-Man, Scott Lang and Cassie, they did good. They did well. I like their characters. But for a title with Wasp in it, it really didn't seem that Wasp had any, or Hope didn't have any pivotal moments or any scenes that like really stood out to me. There were moments where I was like, how did she know that Scott was there type moments. But it's neither here nor there. This could have been titled like Ant-Man and Kang Quantumania, I mean, you don't really don't like see the villain in the title, but I think that would have been appropriate as well because Jonathan Majors stole the show as Kang the Conqueror. And Kang the Conqueror is supposed to be this character that's supposed to have like technology that is beyond our understanding because it is so advanced. And they even say that at some point in the film, or at least Janet does. And I couldn't help but think to myself, if his technology is so advanced, wonder why he didn't kind of like give us a little brief discussion on it, because it almost felt like it was sci-fi-esque, like this Ant-Man, this Marvel movie. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it did feel Star Wars. It did feel like a lot of like elements of Star Wars were in there, from like the henchmen to the ships to the way Kang was walking around, to certain other things. But anyways, like Kang's force push, Kang's force pull, Kang's force grab, whatever you want to call it. Because when Kang meets Scott Lang and Cassie, he tries to be intimidating. How does he try to be intimidating? He force grabs Scott, and then he force grabs Cassie, and then he intimidates Scott by saying that he's gonna hurt Cassie. This moment that I'm talking about, I thought it would have been more intimidating because Scott was in the clutches of his villain, and Scott was at the mercy of Kang, and Kang could have been a little bit more intimidating by, I thought he was going to hurt Cassie in some way, like something minimal, right? But he doesn't. Instead, he force grabs her and like hoists her in the sky, and then like turns her sideways. And at one point, before he turns her sideways, the camera, and I don't know if this was a photographer's like decision or a director's decision, but they did a establishing shot on her right arm, and her hand goes from a relaxed to like it's being stretched. And I couldn't help but think, okay, they're gonna break a finger type thing, just to show how serious Kang is. But they don't show how serious he is. But instead, what they do is they just flip her on her side, and Scott's pissed off, and I would be pissed off too. It's like it's my daughter, right? It's like how dare you put your force-smitten hands on my daughter type thing. Anyways, um, moving forward now, Scott's gonna do what Kang asks, and he has to shrink down to get this time sphere that supposedly was already blown up by Janet. And when I say blown up, I mean blown up in size, not blown up like destroyed, blown up in size, like large. And Scott has to go small to get the time sphere that was blown up big, but is now small. I don't know. Maybe there's some details that I missed. If you've seen it, you can comment and let me know what details I missed, because I thought this was a cool moment for Scott, because characters that are in doubt and have internal struggle, those are the ones that kind of have stress and anxiety that kind of like prolong over time. And we haven't seen that in the MCU. I mean, we technically have, especially with Wanda in WandaVision, but, well, and also in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, especially with the Fulcrum? Fulcrum book, the book. Anyways, but this one was more like he was internally struggling with himself. There was no world, like he was able to talk with himself. Sure, there might have been some other worldly thing with the time sphere thing, but anyways, I like that because he ends up struggling with himself. And one of the images that I got was when he was being suffocated by himself. When I say by himself, there was so many of him that he was like in the middle of them and he couldn't pull his way out, and it was just getting darker and darker. And something clicked in him. He's like, I forgot who I was doing this for. And all of his like hymns, like he's like, we gotta do this for Cassie, like get him up there, like oh go, like it was a good moment. But I thought that was gonna have some residual effect into the film, especially since in the beginning we got a voiceover of him talking to himself, having a good time, to him doubting himself in the middle of the film, to him having another conversation with himself where he's doubting himself that he doesn't know what's to come, but he knows what's coming, but he doesn't know what's coming. So I thought that was gonna have some effect. And my friends when I were talking about it, it's like it would have been really cool to see Scott like as he was going to this dinner party for his daughter Cassie, because it was a birthday party. I thought it would have been cool if they would have like played it off where Kang showed up at the dinner party. And when I say Kang showed up, like it would have been more like internal, like him like seeing Kang at like whether it be the dinner table or like at another dinner table, and he just like looks over at him and he like winks at him. I think that would have been really cool. It would have had more of an impact on the film, because the end credit scenes, like they were good. Like it kind of sets the tone for what they're going for next, especially with Loki season 2 and then Kang Dynasty. But yeah, I thought they would have done a little bit more, because I especially with the way that Ant-Man was beaten by Kang, like some of the cutscenes you could tell like Jonathan Majors was like throwing blows, and they were like, all right, we're gonna cut it here, we're gonna cut it there. It's gonna like look really cool, and it looked really cool. I liked it when he was like stomping on Ant-Man's helmet too, because like you could tell the way that the effects were in, whether it was audio effects or visual effects, like you could tell he was like putting his foot like right there, like on it, and like it was good. But the one thing, no, I don't know, the one of the things that strike me as odd is how Kang was defeated, because he wasn't defeated by Ant-Man. He was defeated by Ant-Man, sort of, and the Wasp. Don't get me wrong, but he was mainly defeated by ants, a civilization of ants that was pulled into the quantum realm that ended up creating their own civilization and having advanced technology. Kang Kang's technology has a force push, a force shield, blast that can incinerate or evaporate his opponents, and I couldn't help but think once I saw the ants get pulled into the quantum realm, I knew they were going to have some role, but I didn't think they were going to have this big of a role at beating Kang. But Steve, come on, if they didn't take away his tools, then Kang wouldn't have put up a fight, or Ant-Man wouldn't have been able to put up a fight, like a fist fight against Kang. Well, no kidding. There's no way he would have been would have put up a fight against Jonathan Majors in the first place. Uh, anyways, I just thought that was like really odd that Kang lost to a bunch of ants, and I can only imagine that in a future Avengers film, Hank Pym will be called on to go to the quantum realm to get his buddy of ants to beat Kang or all the Kangs. It doesn't matter which Kang. It's gonna be all the Kangs. Like just thinking about that, Kang will be beaten by a bunch of ants. And we already know time is not relative in the quantum realm to our time, which also bugs me. It's like if they were in the quantum realm, like how long were they in that quantum realm? Because they like did it really not affect the time that they left and came back? Like, did I miss something? I don't know. Not something they're gonna touch on, I understand, but it's just one of those things where I thought I was like, isn't time different down in the quantum realm? But it is it is what it is. It is what it is. Modoc was a joke. If you liked him, that's fine. But I'm gonna end this with a Modoc. I do believe that he was his character was not valuable. He was just a joke, and they used him to the end. And I thought they could have just cut him off a lot sooner, but they didn't. It was super. It was weird. It wasn't super weird. It was just weird. I was just like, it's like they wanted to close out that character for sure. Just be like, oh, we had a Modoc. We don't need another Modoc. It's like you really didn't need a Modoc in the first place. I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, if you made it this far, I appreciate you coming out and I appreciate you hanging with me. But that's my review on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That's the things that I nitpicked that I saw in the film, and honestly, yeah, it was different. I can't wait to see where the MCU goes from here. Because it doesn't seem like they're really. It seems like they're locked in for a Kang versus like the Avengers type thing. But I just don't know how. Like with the movie lineup, the show lineup, I have no idea how it's gonna really fall into play, especially since like the very first phase of the MCU had such a structural movement, not only with Thanos, but with the characters themselves, and there was such good character development, and it almost feels like I not seeing the same type of character development that we got from the first MCU. And comment below if you disagree, because the one film that really stands out to me as like a film that like really has character development and strong character development is Shang-Chi. WandaVision for sure, especially with Agatha. Like holy cow. But other than that, yeah, no. I appreciate y'all coming out. I'm gonna end it here, and I hope you guys have a great day or a great week. Thank you.